Welcome to Someone's in the Kitchen with Pastor Rob. Today's episode, Lotzah Matzah. Matzah bread is a traditional Jewish bread that is made without any leavening agent for the Jewish feast of Passover, or the festival of unleavened bread. Now, as a caveat, the methods and recipe we will be following today do not qualify as kosher for an Orthodox Jewish Passover. In Orthodox Judaism, you must use special flour that has been kept from all moisture and watched from the time that the grain was harvested until baking occurs. This is because moisture leads to fermentation in the grain, and this fermentation acts as leavening in the bread. In addition, if we were to strive for orthodoxy, then our kitchens, ovens, utensils, and everything would have to be properly cleaned for kosher. And we would only have an 18-minute time limit from the time the liquid meets the flour until done baking. If we were to fail in our time limit, then our kitchen would be considered unclean for Passover. Included in the description below the video is a link that describes the requirements in much greater detail. For us, though, since we are operating from the standpoint of the redeemed in Christ and that we know the Messiah has already come and freed us from the ceremonial laws of Moses, then we are free to take a few liberties in these regards. For us, the bread serves as a visual and historic symbol that ties us to the culture in which Jesus lived. So with that out of the way, we'll run across the screen all the ingredients and equipment that you'll need to prepare your own matzah. 1 cup all-purpose flour. 1/3 of a cup water. An oven preheated to 475 degrees Fahrenheit with the oven rack moved to the top level and a baking sheet preheating with the oven. A rolling pin. A mixing bowl. A cutting board. A knife. And a fork. The recipe we are using today will make approximately 8 matzos. You'll want to start by adding your flour to your mixing bowl. Then, about a tablespoon at a time, you'll want to add your water and then stir it in thoroughly. You will do this until the dough forms a fairly firm ball. Then sprinkle a small quantity of flour onto your surface for kneading. Don't forget to flour your hands as well. That dough can be sticky stuff. You'll want to knead your dough for about 30 seconds. Then, retrieve a cutting board and a knife and cut into about 8 equal-sized segments. Careful with that knife there, Pastor Rob. Make sure the 8 pieces are well separated before moving on. And clear any extra stuff out of your way as well. With well-floured palms, then roll each of the pieces of dough into a ball. Then take each of the balls and flatten them into a small disc. This will make things much easier when you begin to roll them out with the rolling pin. See, isn't that nice? Make some room for you to be able to roll out. Make sure there's a decent amount of flour on your surface. Don't forget again to flour those hands and to flour that rolling pin. You'd be unhappy if your dough stuck to the rolling pin. Make sure everything is out of your way so you don't dump a whole tub of flour all over the floor. Roll and roll and roll some more. Don't you think that's quite flat enough there, Pastor Rob? Still going, eh there, buddy? I think Pastor Rob went a little overkill on this first one. Uh-oh, Pastor Rob, your dough's stuck to the countertop. Whatever shall you do? It's advised to have a spatula on hand so you don't wind up in the same predicament that Pastor Rob is in here. Gently then scrape your dough off of your countertop or cutting board or whatever you are rolling it out on. In the end, your matzah should look about like that. We don't need to watch him do all 8, do we? Let's speed things up a little. Next, you will retrieve your cutting board and your fork. Now, it's time to pierce holes in each of your matzah. You want to stab each side approximately 25 times. This helps keep it from raising. Pastor Rob got a little aggressive on this first one. You really don't need to stab it quite that intensely. Next, retrieve your well-heated baking sheet from your preheated oven. Careful, Pastor Rob. That stuff's hot. You may find that you actually need to preheat multiple baking sheets to be able to get everything in a single batch. We were not quite able to fit all ours on the first go. Set your timer for 2 minutes and wait. 2 minutes later, retrieve your matzos from the hot oven. And again, using your spatula, turn them over. Mind your flipping so they don't get away from you there, Pastor Rob. Then back in they go for another 2 minutes. Another 2 minutes later. Now your matzah should be all done and ready to transfer over to a cooling rack. If you have more that yet need to be baked, now's a great time to do them. Again, put them in the oven for 2 minutes. Yet another 2 minutes later. When those are ready, take them out and give them a flip. Just like the first batch. You know the drill at this point. Another 2 minutes. It's the last time. We promise. And now your matzah should be complete. All that's left to do is take one, snap it in two. I said snap it, Pastor Rob. Come on. There you go, buddy. And try it out. How is it, Pastor Rob? Hey, that's good to see. You should now be standing over a nice pile of a Lotzah matzah. Happy baking. Thanks for watching.